In the golden light of early 20th century Spain, a kingdom stood proudly under the rule of a young monarch born into both privilege and turmoil. King Alfonso XIII entered the world as a king, crowned at birth, wrapped in royal linen, and destined to carry a nation on his shoulders. The Spanish people placed great hopes in him, hopes for strength, for stability, and for a king who could rebuild their identity after decades of political unrest. But behind the royal facade lay a young man with a restless heart, a loneliness hidden behind the glitter of crowns and ceremonies. This is the story the world never fully knew. The story of a king searching for affection beyond the palace walls. The story of a woman whose beauty, intelligence, and spirit captured a monarch's heart. This is the shadowed royal affair of King Alfonso XIII and Carmen Ruiz. The tale begins in Madrid, in the early years of Alfonso's reign. Behind the ornate palace doors, the king carried the heavy burden of tradition. His arranged marriage to Queen Victoria Eugenie of Battenberg had been celebrated across Europe. She was elegant, devoted, and undeniably royal. But their marriage, built on political alliance, was strained from the beginning. The shadow of hemophilia, brought unknowingly by the queen into the Spanish bloodline, placed a dark cloud over their family. Their sons suffered greatly, and the king, pressured by duty and surrounded by grief, sought comfort elsewhere. Alfonso XIII was a man torn between the demands of his crown and the desires of his human heart. His need for companionship, validation, and warmth led him to the quiet corners of Madrid, far away from the eyes of the court. It was in one of these hidden settings, inside a private literary gathering hosted by an aristocratic friend, that he first saw her. Carmen Ruiz, a name whispered in Madrid's artistic circles. A rising actress known for her expressive brown eyes, her graceful voice, and her ability to transform emotion into art. Carmen was not of royal blood, nor did she pretend to be. She was a woman shaped by passion, ambition, and the humble beginnings of a hard-working Spanish family. She never sought kings, crowns, or courtly life. What she sought was recognition through her craft. Yet destiny had other plans. When King Alfonso first laid eyes on her, she wasn't trying to be noticed. Carmen stood near a window, speaking with a friend, sunlight brushing her face. Her smile was warm, genuine, untouched by the artificial stiffness of palace etiquette. And for a moment, the king felt human again, felt the pull of a world outside royal expectations. Their eyes met, just a few seconds, but even in that brief exchange, something electric passed between them, an unspoken connection neither could deny. What followed was a slow, secretive dance. Alfonso arranged to attend more private gatherings, always under discreet circumstances. Carmen, despite being aware of the king's presence, kept her distance at first. She had no intention of becoming another court whisper, another hidden chapter. But Alfonso was persistent, though never forceful. He admired her from afar, sent subtle messages through trusted intermediaries, and expressed only one desire: to speak with her away from the noise of royalty. When they finally conversed, the world around them seemed to dissolve. He was not a king in that moment, just a man longing to be understood. And she was not a subject, just a woman whose sincerity and grace offered him a breath of peace he had long been denied. Their conversations grew deeper. They spoke about Spain's future, about art, about the pressure of expectations, about dreams untouched by politics. Carmen saw the tenderness Alfonso hid from his public image. Alfonso saw the strength Carmen carried in her modesty. Inevitably, affection blossomed, but their love affair was destined to exist in the shadows. Alfonso was a king, bound by marriage and the weight of monarchy. Carmen was an actress, bound by societal judgment and the fear of losing her rising career. Their relationship could never be openly acknowledged, never celebrated, never crowned. And yet, they cared for each other with a quiet, unwavering devotion. The king arranged for secret meetings in a countryside estate on the outskirts of Madrid. an estate known only to a small circle of trusted aides. These stolen hours allowed them to walk through gardens, share stories, laugh without restraint, and exist simply as Alfonso and Carmen. In these rare escapes, Carmen witnessed the vulnerability of a man the world believed invincible, and Alfonso witnessed the loyalty of a woman who expected nothing from him except honesty. Still, the world outside grew darker. Political unrest intensified in Spain. The monarchy's authority weakened, and Alfonso's decisions were increasingly criticized. His image, once adored, began to fracture under public dissatisfaction, and rumors, inevitable, destructive, began circulating about his personal associations. Carmen, sensing danger, wanted to protect him. She often urged him to end their affair for the sake of the crown, fearing that any scandal involving her would be used to attack him. But Alfonso refused to let go. She was the only person who offered him emotional refuge during years of public pressure and private heartbreak. Their bond was not one of reckless passion, but of emotional sanctuary. However, history is not forgiving. By the 1920s, Spain approached a breaking point. Economic struggles and political divisions shook the kingdom. The king's popularity fell drastically, and in 1931, the monarchy collapsed. Alfonso XIII went into exile. The night before his departure, he met Carmen for the last time. It was a quiet, heartbreaking encounter in the estate that had sheltered their love all these years. Alfonso, stripped of his crown, stood before her as a man facing the twilight of his era. Carmen, aware that this moment would mark the end of everything, held her composure with the strength of someone who had always loved silently. There were no grand speeches, no royal promises, just two lovers sharing the final moments of a connection that transcended status, fame, and time. Alfonso thanked her for her kindness, her loyalty, her quiet bravery, and for giving him the rare gift of being loved not as a king, but as a human being. Carmen, with tears that she tried desperately to hide, told him that her greatest wish was for him to find peace. Their goodbye was gentle, tender, and devastating. After Alfonso left Spain, he lived in exile until his final days, far from the woman who had once illuminated the darkest corners of his royal life. Carmen returned to the stage, carrying her pain hidden beneath her performances. She never publicly spoke of the king, never sought fame through their secret bond, never exploited the memory of their affair. Her silence was her final act of love. King Alfonso XIII died in exile in Rome in 1941. Carmen continued to live quietly until her later years, remembered as a talented actress who remained dignified despite the secret that weighed on her heart. Their love story, unwritten, unrecorded, whispered only in private circles, became one of the many royal romances buried beneath history's grand narratives. But for those who knew, it was clear. The king had loved her deeply, and she had loved him fiercely, silently, and without expectation. In the end, the shadowed royal affair between King Alfonso XIII and Carmen Ruiz was not a scandal. It was a hidden tale of two souls seeking refuge from the worlds that confined them. A forbidden love, yes, but also a sincere connection built not on power, but on humanity. Their story remains a reminder. Even the greatest of kings can be lonely. Even the most ordinary of women can touch history without ever appearing in its official records. And sometimes, true love is not the one that triumphs in daylight, but the one that survives quietly in the shadows. This has been the untold, unfiltered, human story of King Alfonso XIII and Carmen Ruiz. A love the world tried to forget, but a love that never truly